We'll start off with this one's just for you, Tim. So this is obviously a Tessina, which, as most of you know, is practically a system. It's got loads of add-ons. Unlike the compass that's got most things built in, this has got bits and pieces that you can add to it if you need to. So this is my least favourite add-on for the Tessina, which turns it into an SLR, I guess. So that prism finder, and it's the most horrible thing that you could think to put on a lovely camera like a Tessina. The image is really dark, it's all fuzzy, it just spoils the whole lines of the camera. So I guess if you were using the camera in anger, it might be useful, but it just looks completely horrible. That's probably one of their least useful accessories. So this is probably one of their most useful accessories, which is the clip-on exposure meter. It's a tiny, tiny little thing. It's working perfectly even still on the camera. It complements the design of the camera reasonably well. It's in keeping with the size and the styling of the camera, and obviously it makes it infinitely more usable because you can get the right exposure on all your pictures. So then it got me thinking, having dragged that out of the cabinet that you see behind me, I thought, well, maybe there's some other examples that I've got of things that you can add onto your camera which actually makes it worse than making it better. This is my beast of a Nikon F2is. I mean, it's a lovely camera on its own. It's got the 1.4 lens. It's built like a tank. It was pretty much the state of the art. I think there was one other model after this before they changed the designs. And as you can see, you can then change what is a big, heavy camera into an even bigger, heavier, uglier camera. So this has got the MD2 motor drive added on, which is the bit in the middle. And then the bit on the very bottom is the MD1 battery pack, because obviously when you're rattling through a roll of film in about 3 seconds, you're going to wear your batteries out quick. And then I came across this thing which is on the top right as we're looking at the picture. So this is quite an unusual Nikon accessory. It's a DS control unit, and basically it's got a servo motor built into it, and what it does is it changes the camera to adjust the aperture automatically as you set the shutter speed. I guess all the modern cameras have got all these gizmos built into them now, but when this was current, adding this onto the outside was the only way that you could do it. It takes a weird battery. You see the two round bits on the right there. The bottom one of the two takes a massive battery, and the battery only fits this. The only thing in the entire world that this battery fits, and you need the special Nikon DH1 charger to charge said unusual battery. And it's bad enough trying to find the batteries. To find the charger is pretty well impossible. There is a guy on eBay that actually remakes the batteries. I brought two from an annual, charge them up before he sends them to you. But seeing as I've had this for about 2 years and never used it, I guess probably the batteries run out by now. But that's how to make a big, heavy camera even heavier and uglier. So then I thought, well, there can't possibly be anything that's bigger, heavier and uglier than that. And it's a Contarex Super Electronic, although it doesn't actually say Super on it. And in fact, I had to double check again on the internet this morning to make sure I'm not misremembering it. And it is officially called a Contarex Super Electronic, although it just doesn't have the super bit on the front. So big, heavy, pretty much state-of-the-art that Zeiss got to at the end of the camera manufacturing. Not a particularly common camera. They only made 1,300 of these. If you know even just the ordinary Contarex, they're big old chunky things, and this is a bit of a beast. It weighs a ton. You'll see there's this little plug on the side, and that's where because it's an electronically controlled shutter, and this is where your add-ons plug into. So there's a couple of different things that you can plug into this to extend the functionality of the camera. So this is said camera with the Tele Sensor added, which is the bit that's on the vertical bit that's on the top, and then plugged into the side of that is the meter which gives you a readout of the aperture on the round bit right at the very top of that attachment, and the camera automatically senses what the aperture has been set at and will set the relevant shutter speed because it's electronically controlled shutter. So just when you think you couldn't make a camera like that any bigger, heavier and uglier, which has now got the most, well, apart from being a heavy camera, I think you can literally use this for banging nails in. So now this has got the motor drive plugged into the bottom. It's two frames a second motor drive. So obviously that's going to eat up your batteries like crazy. So the grip on the bottom takes the extra batteries as well. So this whole thing weighs a complete ton. And according to some of the information, it really wasn't designed to be handheld, which is just as well because it's a brute of a thing. But you could fix this up and remotely control it, and it would automatically give you the correct exposure for everything, regardless of whether the light changed from when you set it all up. I hate to think what all this lot would have cost when it was new. I've never used any of it, but I think it's just an amazing example of add-ons taken to the nth degree. That's my add-on for today.